नमस्ते, मेरा नाम पंकज है. How many people here don't know Hindi? Okay, thank you, Chika. She very quietly picks it up. So as I was reading this yesterday, I was preparing for it. Several thoughts came to my mind. I believe Guruji gave me some inspirations, and it started off with the title itself. Prayer is a call to faith, and faith is called to prayer. Do you know what is faith? How will you define faith? How is it different from belief? In one of the Vedas, it is written that most of the birds, tweet, start chirping, singing their songs when the sun comes up, with the first rays of the sun hitting the sky. But there is one bird, the quail, the cuckoo bird. And I don't know if you have had this experience. It's very melodious, the song is very melodious, very sweet. But it has an irritating habit of starting singing at 3 a.m. in the morning. And if it happens to be somewhere near your bedroom window, then you will know how irritating it can be actually. It's really loud. It's very sweet, but very loud. And the Vedas go on to make the point that the quail has the faith that the sun will come out. When the sun comes out, the other birds know that the sun has come out, and they start singing. And here lies that faith calls to prayer, is a calling to prayer. Now, if you have the faith that there is God, then pray. What is a prayer? Prayer is talking to God. And conversely, praying is a call to faith, because if you are praying, then you must have the faith that there is a God who is listening to you and who will answer your prayers. Right? Now let us look at this. Why must the God, and how can we get the God to answer our prayers? All right, let us do this exercise. Close your eyes. All right. Think of this solar system. There is a sun. It sends out a pulse of light which takes about 8 minutes to get to Earth. And then this pulse of light carries on to the outer reaches of the solar system. It's huge. Huge. And then that pulse of light carries on to this Milky Way galaxy. We are in the outer fringes of the Milky Way galaxy. Visualize the Milky Way galaxy. Now expand this consciousness. There are billions of galaxies. And each galaxy is more or less separated by a vast space which can fit in few hundred galaxies. And there are billions and billions of galaxies. And everything is essentially God's consciousness. Huge. Now come back to Earth. Visualize Earth, the blue planet. There are probably 6.5 billion people here. And God's consciousness is working through their consciousness in some way or the other. Now imagine that you are trying to pray to that consciousness, that vast consciousness. Now I want you to think why this huge consciousness which is everywhere, omnipotent, omniscient, why should it tune in to your prayer? Why should it answer your prayer? What will make it answer your prayer? How can you appeal to this consciousness, God's consciousness? Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Please come back to this room. Thank you. Now, I thought of it, and it was mind-boggling, a little staggering. And the reading sort of threw up the answers. Pray believingly. The key word is believe. Believe in yourself. And I was not amused, saddened actually, that I have so many doubts in myself when I'm praying, when I'm sending out healing energy, and that doubt comes and nags at me. Guruji was in one of his ashrams. He was sitting and talking to people, and he says that if you say believingly with all faith, all concentration that I am free, you will be free at that very instant. And one of the disciples said, "Sir, you mean if I say I'm free, I'll actually be free? But that is not true, is it?" And Guruji said, "You have answered yourself." And I look at myself, I said, yes, that belief there is a lacuna there. So the first key element is believe. Believe in God, believe in the prayer that you are making. And the second point is with concentration. One-pointed concentration. In this reading, Swami Kriyananda ji talks of an example, gives a story, which is telling us that we need to be concentrated with that awareness, one-pointed concentration, one-pointed awareness with the God. And that is what will give power to our prayers. And the third thing is attunement. God will actually be able to listen to us if we attune ourselves to that consciousness. Just as a FM radio or your television is receiving all kind of signals, where are you tuning into? Jesus has said that if you're going to the temple to pray, but you have something against your brother, it is better that you go and sort out that matter. Why does he say that? There are chances that when you are praying, a part of you is still figuring out the problem with your brother. He says, settle it. So what Ramakrishna Paramhans? So he was employed in a temple, and the owner of the temple, the Rani Sahiba, the Rani of the temple, the Rani of that area, was there doing a prayer, and there were 3-4 priests, and Ramakrishna Paramhans was leading the prayer. And then suddenly he turns around and slaps his boss. He slaps the Rani, the queen. And all the other priests are aghast. And they say, catch hold of Ramakrishna Paramhans and they're about to throw him out. And Ramakrishna Paramhans says, "How dare you, such thoughts in a temple of God?" And Rani says, "Yes, he's right, please don't touch him. It is my fault, I was thinking of something else." How often does it happen with us? We are praying and we are asking for something, and as Guruji says, thwarting cross currents of desire and ego. Thwarting cross currents. How often are we actually focused on that particular prayer? In Bible it is said, no man can claim that his prayers have not been answered. God knows what we want. He will give us what we really need. And God is constantly rearranging our lives. We have to tune into His consciousness and see what is actually the right thing for us. What we want and what is needed are two separate things. But it does not mean that, the point here is that when you are calling out with faith, you pray believingly with concentration, and attunement. And then you will find your prayers being answered. Oh.
I will also add to what Pankaj started on. And the story that, or the reading that Surina just read says about Master. When Master took the boys, he was very successfully able to carry out that trip. But the same kind of thing that one of the teachers tried to do, he was not successful. And that's why probably we call them master, isn't it? And then if you look at the life of the masters, they have done many things. Like their prayers were like very strong at times, and they came true also. There is a disciple of Master. His name was Oliver Black, I think. And then he was a very dear disciple, and Master asked one of his students to call him. We're going for an outing. And at that time it was raining big time. It was not the best possible weather to go out and whatnot. So Oliver Black's like, this time, I mean, it's just raining. Why would we go outside? No, rather sit at home and just enjoy. But he said, oh, Master has called. So he just got ready. And then within 2 minutes, he came out. And all of a sudden, the sun has come out. It was all as if like, what just happened? It was raining 2 minutes ago. And then he looked at Master. Master was just looking at him and smiling. And then he says, it's just for you, Oliver. And then again, Swami writes, as he describes this, and like how he was able to change God's dream, or in such an instant is a mystery. And then not only Master, that many of these gurus that are pictures we see here, they have done so many miracles. And they pray that the dead person be brought to life, and then all of a sudden, lo, he comes back to life. And then we all are sort of an aspirants to Master. It seems like they seem to be doing miracles. Their prayers are like just, and here there's this humble teacher just trying to follow the footsteps of the Master, not being able to even carry his own children safely across the thing. So how do we reconcile that, isn't it? So it seems like, when we become masters, we will get this some sort of a siddhi. Uske baad, all our whims and fancies are just going to come true. We just pray and then that's it, isn't it? But that's not also true. You see, like what Master, though for us it appears that everything that they did or things that our rational minds cannot reconcile, but I will take us back to the first visit when Swami Kriyananda went to Master. One of the things, when I say Master, it's Paramahansa Yogananda, and he asked him, will you give me unconditional obedience? And Swamiji was very honest about it, and he said, well, what if I feel that you're wrong at times? And to that, Yogananda ji gave an answer. He said, I will never ask you anything which God himself doesn't ask me to. At a different point in time, when this disciple and guru relation was taking shape, Swami asked Master, do you ever do anything that Divine Mother doesn't tell you? He said, no. My whole purpose here is to do her work. And he also said many times, I've killed Yogananda a long time ago. And that's what the thing. Now, if you bring the two things in perspective, even the so-called miracles, so-called answered prayer, it is not just a whim and fancy that Master said, okay, now that I have become Master, let me play a few tricks with my students. No. Even when Jesus Christ was trying to resurrect person who was dead, it was the will of the divine. He had a divine mission to accomplish, and now we can rationalize and then give reasons behind that. If he had that capacity, but when he was put there on the cross, he didn't use any of the powers because that was not part of the divine drama. That was not part of his divine mission. Each of us, as Pankaj was also alluring to, have a divine mission. It doesn't matter what we want, and he also alluded to that, two phrases. We do not want to go too much into the details of that. No, as a child, we have so many things that we want. God, give me this, give me that. God knows our needs. And those needs inevitably, even if you don't pray at times, will be provided. So what is in our case then is basically tune in. That reading talks about two things. He mentioned about both of them. Concentration and the concentration, but when we pray, we have to be anchored in the divine. Because from that, we have the capacity to actually see What is this drama going to happen? When we talk about prayer, and then Pankaj was talking about how many times our prayers could be half-hearted. No, some things, the mind is somewhere else and we are praying there. What is prayer then? What are we trying to say when we talk about prayer? Prayer is also a form of energy, isn't it? When we pray, when we really, really mean something, can we go into that time when we really, really want something? We are sincerely praying, not necessarily only for ourselves. When we put it, there is a lot of things happening inside, isn't it? I'm sure all of us have been in love at some point in the other. It could be a romantic love or any form of love. And then at that time you want to write a letter or an email, I don't know, or a WhatsApp message, I don't know what it is now these days. But before you go into that, there's already love inside, isn't it? And now you're looking for the words so that you can paint that love, and then those words can carry that feeling with you. Same comes with the prayer. Just words won't have any power. And that's what he says, like before you even try thinking of prayer, are you anchored in that? Do you feel that energy of prayer inside your heart? And that's why many times when we go to the temples, it is easier for us to pray rather than praying in the marketplace. Because there it is already open. People have been doing that. We are already into that energy. Every Sunday we have this kind of a gathering here. We call it a satsang. What is a satsang? Do we get together and then just have fun? No, there is an intention, isn't it? This is, at the moment, we are also feeling some things, isn't it? If you ask your heart, how does it feel? We don't need to give some adjectives, but this is the energy of satsang. And this energy, does it have power? Does it have any resonance to our life? Pankaj just mentioned that sometimes he has doubts. I think he's very unique in that. I am very free. None of us have any doubts or any problems, isn't it? No, it's not true. Like we all carry our own baggage. It's like bada thaili leke aate hai. There's a funny way to look at it also. We ask everyone to keep your shoes outside. We all left our footwears outside. Very true. Actually, we should write a note there. Keep all your baggage outside also. Keep your all doubts, and because here we are trying to cultivate something very pure. So we don't want any of those doubts and all those things. Does it work? No. They also say, mujhe bhi aana hai. They all come with us, isn't it? It's very difficult to leave them aside. In fact, we should have a seat vacant next to each other, so that I am here and all my baggage is just close by. And because they will be with us, we don't want to, we cannot clear ourselves. But now look at this. Now, we all have our baggage, even at this very moment. Nobody is free from that. But the moment we come here, we sit, we participate, we do our own effort, our own part of this satsang, what we are carrying. At this moment, does that baggage has any power over us? No. Master says that when we envelop ourselves in Om, none of these tendencies, none of this negativity, inside or outside, is able to touch us. What is that Om? Nothing else but this is what it is. A power of satsang. The whole point, in spite of the Diwali, and then there are millions of attractions outside which we will eventually get into, but we choose to come here because this is our protective aura. Satsang, energy of satsang. Now, this happens only on Sunday, 10 to 11. And after some time, we will go outside and our own lives will catch up. Is it a possibility? Then how do we carry this protective aura? And that's where Master gave us another option, prayer. Prayer, we don't necessarily need a group. We said the moment you bring that energy inside your heart and then express it out in whichever way, it doesn't have to be that you are praying for an answer or praying for something. Just pray, bring that energy and express it out, has a capacity again to bring that same protection aura around us and making it accessible to the one that we are sending. Isn't it? And this is a practice. You see, prayer, and that's why he gave us this as a practice. We understand that more, isn't it? The more we pray, we feel that protection around us. And as the title says, that gives us the faith. Why do we practice these things? Not because I say, not because Pankaj say, not because Surya read something, because this is from the masters who have something. And we came here because we believe we have some touch somewhere that, okay, they have understood something. But when we put it into practice, a little bit of glimpse of that gives us faith. And that faith gives more power to our prayer. You see how wonderfully tightly coupled this is? Since this morning, we probably had already 2-3 prayers. And then again, I do not want us to become judgmental about, oh boy, that was just a disaster. But we will have some more coming up. So every time, take a moment. It is not important just the words or whether they are the right. First is, how am I feeling? Stopping all those restlessness, because it's just a couple of minutes, and then putting our energy there. Feel that inside your heart, and then tune into those words, and then see if that has any effect on the effectiveness of this prayer. As we will close this session today, later on, you will have an opportunity. So let's this one, and every time when we make a prayer, a great effort and an envelope ourselves into that aura of Om, a protective presence in which not only us, but everyone around us could be enveloped, and we feel the grace of that. God bless you.